Welcome back. Another Marcialis math moment. Today we're going to solve equations that have variables on both sides of the equal sign. So our objective today, students will be able to solve equations in one variable that contain a variable term on both sides of the equal sign.
Okay, so now we are looking at our scale here. Remember, an equation is like a balance or a scale. That's what this thing is called. So I have a left side and a right side, and they're in balance. So whatever's over here on the left is going to be the same as what's over here on the right. And we'll read it. 5x plus 1, so the x is our orange squares and the 1 is our blue circles. That equals 3x plus 5, 3 of our orange squares plus 5 of our blue dots. And so how do we figure out how much one orange box weighs? In terms of blue circles, right? So how many orange boxes, oh, I don't have orange, so I'll just use red, equals how many blue circles? Let's find out. So the first step we do is let's get just one side to have our orange boxes. So you see on the left, we have only our orange boxes, but in order to do that, we have to remove the boxes that were over here on the right. So if you recall, there were 3 orange boxes on the right-hand side. And so we took off 3 boxes from the left. That way our scale is balanced. So we subtract, that's what they do here, we subtract 3 orange boxes, 3 x's, so we rewrite our equation. 5x minus 3x is 2x plus 1, so I have 2 orange boxes left over, but we remove these. Plus 1 blue circle equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 blue circles. And then from here we solve as we would when we have our variable on one side. So I'm going to get the variable x by itself. I'm going to remove 1 blue circle from both sides. That way this guy goes away, so I lose one of those. I get 2x equals 4. What just happened here? So I have, well, sorry about that. So I have 4, why is it freaking out on me? I have 4 blue circles. So if I have 2 orange boxes, that equals 4 blue circles. That means if I divide both sides by 2, I have 1 orange box equals 2 blue circles. I have our orange boxes and blue circles. Final answer here. So on to our first example problem. Make sure you write this in your notes. So I have 2x plus 1 equals 5 plus x. Using our balance example from earlier, x could be our orange boxes, and the constants, the numbers here, would be our blue circles, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I want to get the variable on just one side. So I'm going to remove an x from both sides of my equation. And so this one goes away. 2x's minus 1x just leaves me with 1x left over. And so now I need to get this x alone. I subtract 1 from both sides, right? So if I'm going to eliminate a blue circle from each side, so I maintain balance, then I'm left with x equals 4. Final answer, which means that for my original equation to be true, x would have to be 4. Let's double check. I'm writing in parentheses because this is where the x used to be. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1, does that equal 5 plus 4? Well, they're both 9. So yes, this is our correct answer. Quick way to double check your work, make sure there were no errors. So before, we were removing the same number of orange boxes, if you will, x's from both sides using subtraction, but this time we have a subtraction sign here. So I'm going to choose to add 2x to both sides. Okay, in order to get rid of this guy here and make my x only on the left-hand side of the equal sign. So now I just add 3 x's plus 2 x's is 5 x's minus 3 equals 7. That's the only thing that's left over. This guy comes down. Now I need to get x by itself. In order to do that, I move the constant. I do that by eliminating it. I get rid of it over here. How do I get rid of -3? I add 3. But if I do it to the left, I have to do it also to the right, okay? So I have 5x equals 10. Now if I have 5 orange boxes, that equals, let's say, 10 blue circles, right? Using our previous example from the beginning. That means one box, I divide both sides by 5, is the same as 2 blue circles. Final answer. Now we have something a little different. What is going on here? We have some parentheses. So what that means is it's 8 times and then whatever is inside the parentheses. 8 is multiplied to both of those things. So the first thing we do is we distribute. And if you remember, to distribute means we multiply this number on the outside first times the first term, and then we do it to the next term. Okay, so my first term is positive x, my second term is -1. So let's see what that looks like. 8 times x is 8 times x. I have 8 x's. 8 times -1, I have a positive times a negative, gives me a negative. 8 times 1 is 8, so -8. And then I just rewrite my equation now. I'm going to write my balance here so that I can see clearly what I'm working with. I still have a left side and I still have a right side. So I have 3x and 8x. I want to remove 3x from both sides of my equation so that I maintain balance. It's a way to get rid of this. Then I start over here and I do 8x.
3x's leaves me with 5x's. And then this guy comes down, and then 4 comes down. So then I need to get x alone. In order to do that, let's move this first. I have to get rid of it from the left side. So in order to eliminate -8, I add 8 to it. It brings me to 0. But I have to do it to both sides to maintain balance. So I'm left with 5x equals 12. Not to worry, 5 orange boxes equals 12 blue circles. So to find out how much one orange box is worth, or orange square, I divide by 5 both sides. I get x equals 12 over 5. There's nothing I can do here. It is 12/5. It's a fraction, and that's okay. Fractions are fine. Nothing wrong with fractions. So to recap, we maintain balance by whatever we do to the left-hand side, we do to the right side. If I add 2, then I have to add 2 on the right side as well if I add 2 on the left. If I subtract 3 from the left, I have to subtract 3 from the right. If I divide, let's say I have x, if I divide both sides by 5, that means whatever is over here, I also divide by 5, okay? Number 2, we use the inverse sign. This should be review from previous lessons. We use the operation. So inverse of subtraction is addition. Inverse of multiplication, I don't like to use the x because it's confusing. All our variables are x. Inverse of multiplication is division, okay? And then number 3, if we need to distribute, actually let's scratch that. If we need to distribute, we distribute first. That way our equation is easier to see and easier to work with, and we don't have to worry. We get rid of the parentheses right away. Hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with me. Have a great day.